Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital Thursday, October 31 recap. Jason says goodbye to Sam Alexis' heartbreaking denial. General Hospital, GH, spoilers recap for Thursday, October 31, reveals that Sasha Gilmore Corbin, Sophia Matson, and Michael Corinthos, Chad Doe, discussed how they were just reaching for some familiar comfort. The two agreed no one had to know what happened between them. At the Quartermaine Gatehouse, Drew Quartermaine, Cameron Matheson, convinced Willow Corinthos, Caitlin McMullen, to keep quiet about the second kiss since he assumed Michael would never find out. Of course, Michael already knew thanks to Sasha's updates, but he played dumb as he returned home to Willow later. Although Michael gave Willow a chance to come clean about anything else he needed to know, she acted like it was just a momentary lapse in judgment. Michael suggested that one kiss shouldn't blow up their marriage and family together, so he decided they could get past this. Since the kids were out for a while, Michael and Willow stripped down for some passion as they made up. Meanwhile, Drew transferred $50 grand to Cody Bell, Josh Kelly, to buy his silence. Cody ranted about the kind of guy Drew was and suspected things were still going to end badly for him. At the Surf Lodge, Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, joined Dante Falconeri, Dominic Sampragna, and Rocco Falconeri, Fincare, at their table, where he heard Dante's engagement news and joked around about marriage advice. At GH, Lucas Jones, Ben Hansis, Portia Robinson, Brooke Kerr, and Elizabeth Baldwin, Rebecca Herbst, all looked somber as they approached Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, and Jason Morgan, Steve Furton. Once Jason and Alexis learned Sam didn't make it, Alexis was in denial and kept insisting that everyone was wrong. After Alexis made her way back to Sam's room, she found her daughter's cold body and demanded a blanket from Portia. Alexis snuggled up beside Sam and thought back to when she was a baby. As Alexis slowly began to accept that Sam was gone, she cried out to God with questions and had an angry meltdown. Alexis eventually told Sam that she loved her and gave her a weepy kiss on the head. Later, Alexis pushed the medical staff for answers, though she knew nothing was going to bring Sam back. Jason talked to Liz and learned Sam had a heart attack, but they would have to investigate why that happened. Although Jason wasn't sure what to tell Danny Morgan, Asher Antonizon, and Scout Quartermaine, Cosette Abinant, Elizabeth suggested he should keep it simple. Liz and Jason knew the kids would have a lot of questions that he couldn't answer right now. Jason got a moment alone with Sam's body, so that's when the loss became real for him. After Jason made a sweet speech by Sam's bedside, he reflected on all the memories they'd shared as a romantic montage played. Jason promised Sam that he'd never forget any of it and cried around the corner as he left. Meanwhile, Dante and Rocco got a shock when they showed up and overheard Alexis talking about Sam being dead. General Hospital spoilers say Rocco and Dante will both face some guilt over the circumstances of Sam's demise, so we'll bring you more predictions on their family's drama. It was a somber Halloween in Port Charles, a day usually marked with vibrant costumes, laughter, and children darting door to door, their plastic pumpkins heavy with treats. This year, however, a chilling sense of finality wove through the streets, its epicenter in the halls of General Hospital, and the moments unfolding between Jason Morgan and Sam McCall. Sam stood in the softly lit hallway of the hospital, her eyes locked on the room that held Jason. The man who had been her constant, her harbor in the storm, now seemed more unreachable than ever. Each step she took felt like walking a tightrope with no safety net. The sterile scent of antiseptic stung her nostrils, mingling with the faint undertones of fall leaves carried in on the occasional gust through an open window. Jason sat on the edge of the bed, the white bandages on his side peeking from beneath his black t-shirt. His face, as ever, was a portrait of stoicism, but there was a heaviness in his blue eyes, the kind of weight only someone burdened by impossible choices could carry. He turned at the sound of Sam's footsteps, and for a moment, the world outside ceased to exist. No gunshots, no betrayals, just them, an unspoken connection stretching across the few feet between them. Sam, his voice was low, familiar, yet tinged with a finality she wasn't ready to face. She swallowed hard, her eyes reflecting the battle within. Jason, don't do this. You can't just walk away. Not now, not after everything we've been through. He stood, a deliberate move, every inch of him screaming restraint. Jason reached out, brushing a strand of dark hair away from her cheek. The warmth of his fingers was a cruel contrast to the ice settling in her chest. I have to, Sam, he said, the words like sharp stones dropping between them. You and the kids. You need to be safe. With everything going on, the enemy's closing in. Stop. Sam's voice cracked, the word almost a plea. She stepped closer, the distance shrinking to mere inches. We've faced worse, Jason. We've always come out the other side together. He closed his eyes briefly, as if trying to erase the image of her so close, so desperate. When they reopened, his resolve was firm. This time, it's different. This time, they know our every move. I can't protect you and fight this war. You need to live, Sam. You need to live without looking over your shoulder. Tears threatened to spill from her eyes, but she blinked them back, her chin lifting defiantly. And what about you? You think walking away will change that for you? Jason's silence was answer enough. The hero, the enigma, the man forged by violence and loyalty, stood in the dim light as though he were already a ghost, fading from her world. Down the hall, Alexis Davis sat in a quiet room, her back to the window. The city beyond glittered, unaware of her turmoil. The paperwork in front of her blurred as she stared at it, trying to anchor herself in anything but the relentless thrum of grief coursing through her veins. It had been weeks since her last attempt to reach out to Sam, to bridge the chasm that had opened between them. Each call had gone unanswered, and each visit cut short by a polite yet strained goodbye. The door creaked open, and Diane Miller stepped in, her usual confident air tinged with concern. Alexis, I'm beginning to think you're avoiding real life by hiding in here. Alexis gave a hollow laugh, running her fingers through her hair. And what would I be avoiding, Diane? My daughter's pain, the fact that everything I touch turns to ash. Tell me, what part of my life should I want to face today? Diane's expression softened as she set down the manila folder she'd brought. You can't keep doing this to yourself. Sam needs you, whether she realizes it or not. And you need her. The clock on the wall ticked, its hands cutting through the silence like a metronome counting down to some unseen end. Alexis wanted to believe Diane, wanted to shake off the shroud of helplessness, but the echo of her mistakes seemed louder than any hope. Back in Jason's room, a chill seeped through the walls, as if the ghosts of Port Charles past whispered their warnings. Sam reached out, fingers trembling as they brushed against Jason's jaw, a silent question hanging between them. Don't make this goodbye, Jason, she whispered. But he stepped back, breaking the contact, the move shattering her composure. It's not forever, he said, his tone gentle but irrevocable. But for now, it has to be. Sam watched, numb, as Jason turned and walked out of the room, his footsteps echoing down the hallway until they faded into silence. The air felt heavier in his absence, and the only thing grounding her was the rapid beat of her heart. Across town, Alexis sat staring at her phone, her thumb hovering over Sam's name. She wanted to call, to mend what had frayed between them. But as the seconds stretched, her hand fell away, and she closed her eyes against the sting of Unch's tears. Outside, the wind howled, shaking the branches of the trees, and the moon cast its cold, pale light over Port Charles, bearing witness to the whispered goodbyes, the heartbreaks, and the moments of resilience that defined this fractured night.